Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Ryan. Welcome back to another episode of Animal Crossing and Chill. I believe this is episode number 26. It's Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, 5:36 a.m. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. And as you can see, I live on the beach now. I finally gotten around to moving my house away from the resident services plaza that we've built because as you can see by our map here, we are now about 50% of the way done with the overall terraforming for our current island. And so with that in mind, I needed to move the house out of the way because for those that have been, I guess, keeping up with this series for quite some time, I've talked about this before. You already know that I'm essentially working in a clockwise fashion around the island in regards to its design. This ensures that I'm not working on 4 or 5 different sections, and then, you know, when those sections finally meet, I have to like do some weird terraforming in order to get them to actually merge together smoothly. So I've been doing this pretty much since the very beginning, which at this point now is I think about a month ago, and it's been working out quite well. And you know, this whole design process, as you can see as well from the title of this video, is actually what I wanted to talk about and kind of show off. It's also been about a week since I've posted an update on YouTube for this island, and I know that even though I work on this island a lot over on the Twitch live streams, there are a lot of people who can't make those live streams, and so really only utilize YouTube. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what's been going on. But one of the questions I get a lot is, you know, in regards to the overall design, and while I'm talking, I'll kind of give you guys a walk around, you know, to show you guys what's going on. In regards to the design process, one of the questions I get a lot, both on YouTube and specifically on Twitch, is, am I doing everything, you know, am I planning any of this out? Do I have a plan in place? And the answer to that question is no. So I am doing everything as we go along. So the design process for this whole island, as you see it, happens, like I said, this all happens a lot live over on Twitch. A lot of the people who are regulars on the stream they've seen everything being built from the ground up, and you know, there's been a lot of moments of tearing stuff down and putting stuff back up and making rivers and making lakes and stuff like that. And you know, this process is actually taking a lot longer than I had anticipated, but overall, I have been enjoying the process. So this is something new. This is a tiki bar that I've been talking about implementing for quite some time. It's still in the process of being designed. This is one of the newer additions to the island. And let me tell you, once I built this whole section here, I completely forgot about the other like 90% of the beach on the west coast and on the east coast of the island. So I'm curious to see how I plan on, or rather, what I end up doing to fill up those spots as well. So I made a lot of changes to the path as well. We have this more fall pattern with the pathing, with some mushrooms and stuff growing off of the sides of the path. Now this path code, which if I can find it, I'll post in the comments section, or rather the description down below. The path code originally had, you know, you have mushrooms on every single patch of the path, but for me, I felt like that was way too much. On the live stream, I called it sprinkles. Sprinkles on the icing that is the path. So I reduced it down, and I'm only using, I think, 3 or 4 of them instead. 1, 2, 3. Yep, so 4 instead. And I think it looks a lot better. The previous version, which is, you know, using mushrooms on every single design, was a bit much. But one of the things that I've been implementing with the path that I've done differently is something that I got inspired from on a most recent island tour that we did on the stream. And that was to start to, I guess, disjoint the path instead of making it all, you know, one cohesive trail. And I have to say that it does look a lot better. It does add a more natural aesthetic, which is the whole thing that we're going for here in regards to this new island that we're making here. So so the campsite is pretty much unchanged, except for, you know, the briefcase out here. This is all pretty much unchanged. So the design process. I get asked a lot about the design process and how this whole thing works. And people ask me for terraforming tips and design like tips and tricks and stuff like that. And People they think that I'm kidding when I say like I have literally no idea what I'm doing. Ooh, a leaf campfire, that's new. Um, and the answer to that is honestly low battery. Is I really don't. The reason this is taking so long is because the fact that like I really, like I said, I don't have a plan for how this whole thing is going to go. And so my advice for terraforming and stuff like that, if you're going for this style of island or even just in general, is honestly just start doing. I think that's the biggest thing with terraforming that I think people are afraid of the most is the concept of just doing. And if it doesn't look right, then the idea of having to tear it all down again. Unfortunately, if you want to get an island, I also want to put some fencing around here. I know that's one of the things I wanted to do, kind of like this corral fencing here, which I have over here on the left of Stitch's, I'm not sorry, Stitch's, Ketchup's house. You really have to just go ahead and do. Right now, as you can see in the middle of the island, there's this gigantic block of terraforming that I haven't quite touched yet. But that's the work in progress part of this whole thing. And that's, if anything, that's a good example of me showing that I have really no idea what something is going to look like until it's done. I just started terraforming this whole area up, I suppose. And as you can see, it's quite barren. There's really nothing here. Oh, that's right. I have finally built a ramp up here. And, I mean, even this little section here was completely... I had no idea what to do with this section here until I started placing stuff down. So it started off with just a log bench, and then I started to put country fencing around it to kind of separate it. Country fencing is one of the things that I've been placing down a lot on the island. I don't know what it is about it, but it does add a lot to the aesthetic for such a small, reserved tile space. But the first thing I did was I put down the log bench. I felt it was kind of barren. I put down the stone pathing underneath it, and I thought, what could go up here to add a little bit more life instead of just having a log bench? So I decided to put a book up there, and I said, okay, well, what if the person who's up here reading a book, what if they're studying? What if they're, reading a lot of books for, I don't know, for leisure or something like that? So a stack of books was put next to it. And then, of course, I thought, let's put a decoy duck out there. Because that's just what it is. My design process is literally just, do I think that would look nice? Probably. Let's try it and see how it looks. Oh, look at that. It does look nice. So, when you're doing this whole thing, you can't be afraid to just try stuff out. And you can't be afraid to tear stuff down if it doesn't work, and fill in lakes and rivers and stuff like that if they don't work. And I think so far, everything about the island in regards to how it's looking currently, I think it's all looking wonderful. If we're being completely honest, I think everything in regards to how it's looking is looking so great. And I'm really excited to see the finished product here. Another thing in regards to the design of this particular style of island is stuff is awesome, which is like the weirdest way to say it. But I mean, if you just even look at this section right here, there's a lot going on that fills up the area so much. So, for me, I wanted a more natural looking island, and so it was easy for me to just come to the conclusion to start putting bushes everywhere. But that left a lot of empty spots on the ground for things that didn't have 3 dimensions, like bushes and flowers and stuff like that. So even doing something as simple as adding little stepping stone patterns or these fall leaves, which once the leaves on the Northern Hemisphere island start changing color, is going to look just so nice. But they're there now in order to fill that spot. And then the good thing about the design process for this as well is that once the season changes, and there's something else that people make designs for. So like in the winter time, if people start making like, like footprints in the snow patterns and stuff like that, all I would have to do is simply replace the autumn leaves pattern with that one, and it keeps its cohesiveness. And then I don't have to do a lot of crazy uprooting and stuff like that in regards to changing everything to match whatever season it's in. Same thing with the path. I only had to change 4 different design slots, and then once this is over, fall in particular, I can simply just change the path back to what it was before, or change it to a winter path once winter comes around. So, I know that I'm not really doing a lot of design at the moment, but I more or less just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the design process while I kind of show you guys the updates of what has been happening on the island. Plus, it's also been a while since I've done an Animal Crossing and Chill video where I can just sit back and casually just kind of talk to you guys about what's going on in my game. Also gonna get rid of these seaweeds here. I've not grown quite fond of them over the last few days, and then instead of selling them, I'm literally just going to throw them away. Oh, I can't even throw them away. Oh no, you have to. Okay, well I guess I'm selling them to Timmy and Tommy then. There you go. I didn't want to do that, but looks like they're gonna get it. And let me see here. I know that there are certain parts of the path that I need to change. So, like I said before, one of the things that I've been doing is I've really been disconnecting them from, you know, it's just straight up like this path leads to the next path. I still think that them being connected in any sort of way still does guide the player around. So I know that, for example, like I'll show you guys really quick what I mean. So if we disconnect these two here, and it would have to disconnect right here, then simply just so we have this needs to change like this, so now we need to round this out instead. There we go. And see, like, to me, that just makes it look a whole lot better. And if I wanted to, I can disconnect it right here because, you know, this is the path that leads from the resident services down, or rather up into the resident services as well. So this is just one of those moments, like, you know, that I'm talking about here, in that you have to be completely willing to either place stuff down and then get ready to change it, or just keep on trying different things in the hopes that maybe it'll work out. I get a lot of compliments on my island in regards to how it looks, but let me tell you, like, as I keep making these changes, people keep saying over and over again that it's looking better, it's looking great and stuff like that. But people don't understand that, like, this is a big trial and error thing, you know? I'm not sticking to one idea completely, and when I change it, I'm always making the most minute changes to make sure that it either enhances what it was before or makes it something completely different so that it's, you know, better than it was before. But that's kind of subjective. You know, you always have to do what you think is best for your island at the end of the day, always. And so, yeah. So I guess let's more talk about my ideas now for what I plan on doing with the rest of the island here while I start to disconnect everything here with the pathing. And you guys can hang around and just kind of listen while I do this kind of stuff here. So I had a library up at the top, which I think you guys might have seen in previous videos, which I ended up taking away and putting Ketchup's house there instead. One of the things that I had realized was that in regards to things like where people's, or rather where our villagers' houses were going to go, I didn't really have anywhere for a lot of the other houses to go. With a total of 10 houses, including my own, so 11 total, I was starting to run out of room very quickly, which meant that the right-hand side of the island was going to be relegated to a lot of the housing and stuff like that. And it would get kind of close to what I would perceive as being a neighborhood section, which is something I've talked about before, which is something I don't want to do. I also get asked a lot, neighborhoods or scattered homes. And I think after doing this for so long and having the original island be, you know, a neighborhood section, I very much do prefer the, what's it called? The scattered home style of villagers' homes and stuff like that. So that's just my preference at this point now. And so I decided to move the library instead of getting rid of it completely. So it will still be there at some point. I just don't know quite when. So yeah, that's definitely something that I still plan on implementing. And now that we have Dobie, which for those of you that have seen the most recent villager hunt video, a lot of people were suggesting maybe even putting Dobie's house next to the library as well, which I think is a great plan too. Probably will be doing that. When in doubt, just plant clumps of weeds down everywhere. Oh right, I want to go back to the topic of stuff is awesome. I don't feel like I touched on that quite a lot. So in regards to the stuff is awesome ideology, really, if there's an empty space, you know, and I've talked about this idea before, in regards to things like micro environments, when you're going for this more natural looking themed island, there's really no right or wrong answer in regards to what's done to make things look natural. For me, it's as simple as, would people sit here? If not, then just fill it up with trees and fill it up with bushes and stuff like that. That's pretty much it. And the more you fill stuff up with things, the more full it will look. So if you were to take away all the flowers and all the bushes and all the, you know, the wheat, oh my god, I almost said weeds. Oh my god. For regulars of the Twitch stream, I don't call them weeds, I call them weeds. There's this classic thing with W words where you put an H in the front of it, so instead of wheel, it's wheel. I don't know why I'm explaining this, but it's a joke that we have on the streams, and I can't believe it just came out on this video. For those that are my Twitch viewers, you're welcome, I guess. So here's an example. Like, so there's this kind of like empty spot here between Stitch's house, this flower, and then these two disjointed parts of the pathway, right? So before, this path was connected to itself, and I've disconnected them, and I now have them meeting over here instead. It's also a way of thinning out the path. What I'm simply going to do is I'm just going to add a country fence there. Now, immediately, that adds separation between Stitch's house and this path here. It also gives Stitch's what is a little bit more of now a neighborhood, or not a neighborhood, but like a yard style house as well. And then even though it's you can't really see it a lot, you can kind of see it back there a little bit. So it's subtle things like that that you can do to add to the aesthetic of this style of island. You know, as I mentioned before, country fencing is like one of the biggest things that I've been using a lot lately. I still need to do things like implement like log stakes and stuff like that, and maybe just change the color of them as well. But it's really just as simple as filling in areas. So generally what I'll do for a particular terraform section is I'll design it with what I had in mind. So for example, like this picnic blanket area, I just put the picnic blanket down and I put the stuff down. Then I started getting the more natural stuff of what would be around it down, so the bushes, the flowers, and stuff like that, the clumps of weeds. And then I just started kind of building around that. So we have the log stool with the radio, and then the hedges up top and stuff like that. The garden lantern right here, which accents the pathway from the diagonal bridge that we have set. Like I said before, it's a lot of trial and error process, and the reason this process is taking so long is because of the amount of trial and error that I'm doing with this whole island. But I am still most certainly loving the process and stuff like that, so you just have to take your time with it at the end of the day. That's pretty much it. I've disconnected this path up here, so that's good to go. And then, let's see. I don't really feel like I should disconnect the path to Sherb's house. I've disconnected this path just now, which is looking really nice. I think if I'm going to... I don't want it to be too symmetrical. If I'm going to disconnect this path, I think it'd have to be disconnected probably right here. Or maybe even around here. I think if anything, it has to be around here. Let's start by doing that. Let's start by disconnecting the path right here. Now that my house isn't here, I can kind of get a better idea as to what it is that I plan on doing here. Oops, I didn't mean to connect it that way. But maybe that's okay. Nope, it's not okay. That's just part of the... That's just, as I mentioned, that's just part of the design process, folks. If it's not okay, it's not okay. Get rid of it. Get it gone. And then... Here we go. And I think I have something on me that I can eat. If not... Nope, I do not. So then if anything, we'll just kind of get this path started here in regards to where it's going. We'll display it that way. We'll kind of connect it up there. Then maybe we'll have this path just keep on going up like this. And maybe we'll curve it around like that. And like, you know, I could always just like have these sections meet in a circle around this little lake area, and then put some benches around it as well, or even just a bench right over here. Maybe I can put like a fishing rod here and a chair to show that maybe someone was using this section to you know, do a little early bird catches the worm kind of thing. So yeah, I think that might be one way to go as well. So I can connect them up here and then have this path keep on going this way, and then potentially lead into more homes and stuff like that. And then of course, what better way to separate a section than by adding some country fencing? Now, like, that's just a placeholder. That might be too much. If I'm going to go what I'm going for here, which is, like I said, maybe someone sitting out here with a chair and then a fishing rod. Like, so for example, let's just place this out there because I can always just buy another one. Can I rotate it? I think I can still rotate it. I can. Okay. I'd obviously want to get a different one because this one is pink with the pink rubber ducky, but maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Let's see, how close can I get it to the water here? There we go. That kind of works. And then, let me see if I rotate it this way. No, I'd want it to face up that way. And then just put a chair out here, and there you go. We have, like, someone's fishing right there. So, I guess that's kind of like a brief glimpse as to how I design stuff a little bit more intricately in regards to placing things around the island. You know, disconnecting the path to make things a little bit more natural and fluid, but still what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know the word I'm looking for, but despite its messiness, it is very fluid. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, that's kind of a brief glimpse as to, I guess, as to my design process. Wanted to touch briefly on, I wanted to give you guys more or less an update as to how the island's looking. I don't really think there's anything else that's changed much from the previous video. Well, actually, I mean, there's a lot changed. I still need to add a lot of decorations to this center waterfall section here. There's a lot changed, but this is just something that, you know, is taking a while, so... That's top of the hour right there. You know what? I don't really know. I'm not going to sit next to this duck, but because I don't want to move the duck, but I'm going to stand up here anyway. There we go. Perfect. We'll do it that way. You know what? Those waterfalls are really loud. Let me not do it that way. Let me just stand out here. Let me just walk down. I'm trying to end this video. Here we go. All right. Otherwise, that'll pretty much do it for this video. As I mentioned, you know, I just wanted to give a lot of the people who can't make the live streams more of an update to how the island is looking and stuff like that, and show you guys a little bit of a glimpse of my design process and kind of what goes on in my mind as I'm doing this whole thing. So I hope that was somewhat insightful. If anything, go ahead and just take this away as just an update to the cottagecore that we've got going on right now. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, by all means, be sure to like the video. Really helps. And you know, as I mentioned before, I am live streaming a lot of this process over on Twitch. A link to my Twitch is in the description down below. If anything, I'll also put it in a pinned comment as well. So by all means, I currently stream every Tuesday, Thursday evenings, and then Saturday and Sunday the schedule is more listed in the description. So if you ever want to stop by and you have any more questions regarding this that you'd be more than happy to answer, by all means, feel free to stop by. We'd love to see you there and have you hang out. And of course, if there's anything else, be sure to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, guys, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, have a good one. I'll see you around.